all think of Africa, we think of exquisite safaris and beautiful and majestic animals. But few of us think of the 1.8 million adults and children who die there every year to HIV/AIDS. Just imagine if every 2.5 weeks the entire population of Carmel died. This is the horrible extent of HIV/AIDS in Africa. On September 11, 2001, nearly 3,000 people died in the World Trade Centers. Every year, nearly 32,000 people are killed to automobile accidents. Over the past decade, over 17,500 people have died to murder every year. In the war in the Middle East, over 6,600 U.S. soldiers have died. This pales in comparison because in 1 month, more people die in Africa to HIV/AIDS than all of these tragedies. HIV/AIDS is a very deadly disease and an untamed epidemic spreading through Africa like wildfire. AIDS-related diseases currently are infecting over 5,600,000 people just in South Africa. Every year, over 275,000 people die of cancer in the U.S. For every one person that has died of cancer in the U.S., there are 7 people who have died of HIV/AIDS just in sub-Saharan Africa. There's a lot of controversy over how and when the disease spread to humans. But there is one thing that almost all experts agree on. HIV started out with chimps. Though there are many theories on how it reached humans, the theory that is most likely is that at the turn of the 19th century, hunters butchering chimps got HIV-filled chimp blood into small cuts or scratches. It is important for us to know this history so that now we can develop new medicines to help fight the disease. HIV/AIDS is a horrible disease, but its effects even go beyond just the disease. Studies have shown that having parents increases development and learning skills. But just in 2010, there were an estimated 18 million African children who lost one or more parents due to HIV/AIDS.
The spread of HIV/AIDS was so prevalent that an entire generation of mothers and fathers have passed away.
When we were in South Africa, some of the most amazing experiences that we had were just seeing the entire effect that HIV and AIDS had on the region. When we were there, we were in a place called Limpopo province, and there were no men in the area because they were all either dead of AIDS or they were off in Johannesburg working.
If we don't slow down in this stubborn disease, it will get worse at a rapid rate, killing many in its tracks. Just over 10 years ago, in 1998, there were 800,000 people living with AIDS. Now there are over twice that many people infected each year at 2.2 million. If we don't fight to stop this disease, many more will perish, and HIV/AIDS will become even worse. One of the things I did to help the AIDS orphans through the tough times was I made embroidery floss bracelets. Me and my sister and our friends did this, and it really does help out the AIDS orphans because it gives them something to make them feel like it's their own, and they don't have the resources to go out and get some, so it really does help. We then give these bracelets to a girl who is going on a mission trip to South Africa, and from there she'll pass them out to HIV/AIDS orphans.
In their minds, they view America as a perfect place with no problems or anything. So for us Americans to go there to South Africa and show love to them and interact with them, it's an amazing thing for them, and you can just really see their joy when they see us come in there.
I made a presentation for my 4-H group talking about AIDS and how people in the U.S. can get it too, such as by touching blood. I talked about how AIDS in Africa is a very big problem in ways that they could help. AIDS is transferred from person to person through blood and other bodily fluids. Infections from AIDS is highly preventable by taking precautions such as wearing rubber gloves, not reusing hypodermic needles, testing medical blood supplies, and practicing safety within relationships. In the United States, the spread of HIV is greatly reduced by public awareness and education. In Africa, the public education is very poor. There are also cultural myths about how to be cured of the disease. Unfortunately, these beliefs actually spread AIDS. Most people in South Africa are not tested for HIV since they are unaware that they have the virus. They pass it along to their partners and children. I asked Waylon Thompson, the pastor at Northview Church who leads the mission trip to Africa, what ways any person could help AIDS orphans. He said this.
One of the main ways you can help AIDS orphans is by sponsorship. Through different organizations, you can actually sponsor a child in South Africa, in our case, and through sponsorship it allows them to, it basically pays for their education.
Sponsorship also pays for food, water, clothing, and many other necessities. I sponsored 2 AIDS orphans, Lena Machum and Hendrik Masagoba. We give them gifts like these. Our sponsorship really keeps these AIDS orphans happy, and it literally saves their lives. Last April, my dad and my brother both went to South Africa. They saw firsthand how sponsorship could really help.
One of the days our group went around the city and we were praying for people who were on hospice and who were really struggling with AIDS and other things. Like we saw a girl who had just gotten hit with a car like 2 days before. So we were looking for this one girl who was 7 years old and she had AIDS, and we got to her house and she wasn't there. So we just kept on with our visits, and during the whole time there were these like little group of kids following me around, and I would put them up on my shoulders and throw them around, just playing with them, and they were having a great time. And then the guy who was leading us realized that one of the girls that had been following me was the girl that we were looking for. And I had been playing with her for this long time, and I never once knew that she was sick at all. It didn't come to me at all. And then it just kind of shocked me when I heard that. So we just prayed for her there, and but it just really stuck with me because here's a little girl who, shouldn't have to worry about stuff like that, and her life was probably going to be cut short very soon, and it was just really a sad thing to see.
Had this girl been sponsored, she most likely would not have had this problem, because sponsorship can also help pay for the medication and gives them the nutrition they need to take it. I did a lot of extra chores, like raking leaves, snow blowing, and other yard works to raise enough money to sponsor our AIDS orphans in Africa. Then I took the money I earned and sent it to our sponsorship organization. If you are interested in sponsoring an AIDS orphan, some good organizations to do this are World Vision and Horizon International. As you can see, HIV/AIDS in Africa is a major epidemic. Even though we live far away from there are still many ways we can help, and that is exactly what I hope you will do.